Jordan gets a new family member, Beverly and Crenshaw take the field, and Coop watches Amina. This is a recap of the third episode of All-American Season 7. Despite the fact that the show is actually rather fantastic, many All-American fans are opting not to watch it after the Vortex left, if social media activity is any guide. The teenage actors, particularly Antonio J. Bell as Khalil Edwards, Nathaniel Logan McIntyre as Kingston, KJ, Jeremy, and Alexis Chikais as Amina Sims, are giving good performances, and the narratives are fairly compelling. It's good to see Jordan blossom as a coach, but it would be lovely if Jordala had more screen time and Layla had a more compelling plot. Let's jump, then. Let's get started with our recap of All-American Season 7 Episode 3. Khalil becomes a member. Khalil looks nervous as he heads into the training facility for this first day of training, but he quickly finds his rhythm. At practice, Jordan takes Khalil aside and praises him for being in the gym again. His extra work hasn't gone unnoticed. Khalil feels like he's ready to suit up. Unfortunately, the coach Bonnie isn't feeling it since he hasn't gellied with the team yet. After practice, Yassi gets on Khalil's case. He doesn't think he should be on the team. They end up challenging each other to a weightlifting contest. When Yassi wins and declares that it's his team, Coach Bobby corrects him and welcomes Khalil to the group. The season opens with Cassius and KJ. While at the hangout with KJ, Cassius is anxious about the upcoming season. Since they are starting at a new school, he needs KJ more than ever, but KJ is self-assured. Jordan enters and observes KJ and Cassius reviewing plays. Jordan and KJ are beaming, but Cassius's persistent fears are coming through. Tori, who has returned to the cheer squad but is still keeping on the sidelines, is bumped into by KJ later in the corridor. He wants to know why there isn't more spirit during Spirit Week. Cassius motivates his squad before their first game, but KJ is upset that they didn't perform well or shield him after they lose. Additionally, he accuses Cassius of evicting him from his house. Despite knowing what KJ is going through, Cassius confronts him about his disrespect when he returns to the motel. Coop serves as a babysitter. Amina is a little shaken when Coop unexpectedly drops by her house to see how she's doing. When Khalil enters, we quickly learn why. Coop offers to drive them both to school, but Khalil is expected to walk her there. As the babysitting goes on, Coop follows Amina when she goes to Layla's for her work training session. After noticing that Coop is photographing her, she ultimately makes a mistake. When Layla notices what's happening, she asks Coop to leave. She spends some time calling KJ during her break. When Amina's shift is over, Coop agreed to take her home when Layla offered. Layla is asked by Amina for tips on how to quit being treated like a child. Although Yassine is having trouble at quarterback, Cassius and KJ go over to watch Crenshaw's game. He is criticized by Khalil for his fear of throwing the ball downfield. The coaches have to break up another altercation between them. Amina criticizes Khalil for pouting on the sidelines and talking down to the squad, especially Jordan, who is the only member who has faith in him. Khalil returns to the game and begins supporting and assisting his team from the sidelines. Jordan is silenced when he asks that Coach Bobby include Khalil. Jordan Cassius shows KJ that this leadership and putting his team on his back is what Beverly needs from him. After the game, Amina bumps into KJ. He tells her to not let Khalil take her for granted after seeing them almost kiss. Meanwhile, Khalil thanks Jordan for putting him in the game, but Jordan thanks him for executing. Later, at Beverly, KJ apologizes to his teammates and gets them to help the cheer team with their bake sale fundraiser. KJ apologizes to Cassius for his behavior and admits that he's partly to blame for Beverly losing their first game. Khalil ends the episode where he started, in the gym, but Amina is still on his mind. Soon some of his teammates come in and it seems he's becoming one of the guys. Coach Bobby versus Coach Jordan. Coach Bobby walks in and calls Jordan out for insubordination and accuses him of being just like Billy Baker. He warns Jordan to stay in his lane. Later, at the Baker house, Jordan talks to Layla about Coach Bobby and feels his beef might be personal. He thinks he might be Billy's long-lost brother who was put up for adoption. Coop steps back at the house. Coop tries to babysit Amina again and she finally has enough. She tells Coop to stop acting like her mom. Later, Coop texts Amina to kind of check in on her, but steps back. As someone who grew up without her mom, Layla tells Coop that he's becoming one of the guys. Coach Bobby versus Coach Jordan. Coach Bobby walks in and calls Jordan out for insubordination and accuses him of being just like Billy Baker. He warns Jordan to stay in his lane. Later, at the Baker house, Jordan talks to Layla about Coach Bobby and feels his beef might be personal. He thinks he might be Billy's long-lost brother who was put up for adoption. Coop steps back at the house. Coop tries to babysit Amina again and she finally has enough. She tells Coop to stop acting like her mom. Later, Coop texts Amina to kind of check in on her, but steps back. As someone who grew up without her mom, Layla tells Coop that